Hey, people do. I don't know. People just want to interfere with my steez today. I've been prepping. I was ready. Honestly, I was ready.
Twice.
Some of you will not make heaven. I'm telling you, because no one's gonna rain on my parade. Good morning. Welcome to Jasiri. We, my ladies and I, are proud and excited to be here with you on a Thursday morning. Thank you for tuning in today. This morning, I want us to look a bit inwards and ask this question. Ask the question, answer the question. Potato, potato. How are you? Seriously, how are you? How are we coping with everything that is happening around us? You know, there's some things we take for granted. How are you, Ideal? How are you? I'm fine. No. But really, in street parlance, aka street language, how Nade? This one I want to start with the question I want to ask the ladies this morning. Ladies, how Nade? How are you? What do you say? How are you in Hausa?
If it's a girl, yakike. If it's a guy, yakake.
Yakake, yakike. How do you say how are you in your it's like you're not quite
No, but I actually know it. So in Yoruba is Bawoni, in Oguri is Osomao.
In my language. Come on, that's you in my language. Yes, yeah. So how are you guys really? How are you? I know mental health is a thing. Apart from mental health, we've sat on this table. Oh, dear table. Thank you for listening to all our discussions because we've talked about a lot of things.
The table is strong.
I know.
This table is stronger than many people's relationships. I can tell you that for free.
We've talked about coping mechanisms. We've talked about mental health issues. We've talked about balancing work and lifestyle. We've talked about choices. Guys, how are you?
Good days and bad days. I think that's just the way life is, and you roll with the punches. You've got some days where you're extremely happy, you're joyful, you can access the joy inside of you, and then there are days when it's a little harder to do that. And then you just sort of take it in your stride. I have certain things that I do to calm myself down, to reduce stress. I know how to manage my stress very well.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
How do you do that, please? Because people struggle with managing their stress.
Perspective is one of the first things. There's other things you can do, like the going to the spa, the doing your nails, the doing your hair, the soaking in a tub, the drinking of wine. That's always a good thing. But those are external, temporary fixes. You need to make sure that there's a space inside of you that is untouchable. I learned this, I think maybe like 7 years ago. There's a space inside of you that only you occupies. No man, no woman, no mom, no dad, no nothing. And you keep that space sacred. So when the world around you is moving mad, you go into that space, you re-energize, and then you come back out. So you don't let anybody in there. It's very important. So they don't come and mess it up.
I don't know where you are here, but I'm trying to believe you are not buying this market.
This question is in itself very therapeutic because when you kept asking, for me, it was like, there are a lot of affirmations that I use to guide myself, right? And then, all of these things you said, you're trying to have a space in your head where it's only you and all, but there's only so much that everyone can take, right? And I know that especially for the young people, it's really, really difficult. I'm grateful I have a job that pays the bill, but even at that, there are a lot of things that you wake up to every morning, bills here and there, and what things could afford when you were younger and you hoped to grow up to be able to afford them, it's like now you have to work extra hard to afford them. It's like, there's this joke we say, as young people, like, when I was in school, things were affordable and we were wishing to be the aunties that we saw. But now you reach my turn, everything all costs, and it's actually very true. It's true. Because it's like, you grew up hoping to get a job, be able to pay your bills. You can now, but it's like, it's tougher. It is tougher. Then you hear 100,000 naira, it's like, oh my God, that's so much money. But now it's just,
100,000 is 1,000 naira.
Yeah, so it's, to be honest, like I said, it's not like I'm putting up a facade, but honestly, there's only so much. Like I wake up every day, I'm like, blessings, no matter how much fuel costs, you can afford it. But then you're buying it and you're like, come on, that's too much.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what people are going through. There's a lot of unemployment, a lot of people who are struggling. You know, we had Waka Waka Doctor, was it yesterday? And it was saying things like, even if you want to travel, aside your education and all that, you need to have a skill. There are people who have skills but are not getting support. There are people who have skills that are struggling to get recognized. There are people, it's just a whole lot, especially for the youth. And I'm not even joking. It is hitting us hard.
I think people are, like you said, you had this plan for your life. I remember being a kid, I would think, oh my gosh, I look at my mom, look at my dad, and it's like, they look like superheroes.
I know,
like, and then you're now probably the age that they were when you were a baby, and you're like, how the heck did they survive? Because truly, we are dying on the line. It's not even a joke.
Like I was thinking about it the last time. Like, I saw a check one time in my mother's wardrobe, and it was 50,000 naira. In my mind, like 50,000 naira? Oh my God, I can't wait to grow up to be able to afford this. And then now I'm thinking 50K. That's like a full-time.
That's you know, when I hear that, Annie has suggested, okay, so there must be some things you can do to reduce your stress. And you now take a look at lifestyle choices, perhaps. What kind of lifestyle choices can you make in the heat of how things are? That you might have lifestyle choices, but you cannot afford.
Just because you're the only one that wants to speak.
Yes, so that's honest.
Peace. We underrate how much of a life extender, how much you'll be there. You will be young, you will glow. Listen, yes, when you have peace. Not beach, I said peace. We underrate inner peace. I'm telling you guys, you know they buy
where we want to
they make them.
Again,
you they create them for yourself.
Is it sitting down in your house when your neighbor's child is busy shouting? They are shouting, Marcelina.
No, see, so you know what? The cup is always either half full or half empty.
Okay.
You can't change sometimes the things that you get, the situation you're in, but you can change the way you see it. And the way you see it is how that situation will see you, I promise you. So let's say, all you can afford now, and you guys know this is not my anthem, a crate of eggs is 6,500 naira.
Yes, so.
You can say that is expensive, but I can afford it. Okay, so maybe I used to eat 5 eggs before. Okay, now I eat 2 eggs. I'm still eating eggs. It's a matter of perspective.
Annie,
that's what it is.
Can we be practical?
I am being practical.
I understand that, and I genuinely believe that. But you're telling us. Let me exclude myself from this because I'm sitting down in my office. You're telling people who can only afford to buy data so as not to lose touch of the world in case somebody wants to help sponsor them or give them a job. Who's eating 5 eggs? Nobody.
And escapism.
You're literally hanging on by a thread. And the only thing that is giving you joy is the fact that your neighbor is also soaking Gary.
No, that's a problem. No, I'm sorry, Blessings. That's a problem with you. If the only thing that's giving you joy is the fact that someone else is suffering, then you have a problem with your own joy.
People will tell you, what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they're happy because someone else is suffering. I'm saying it's now a communal survival kind of thing.
But we've always been in a communal survival stage.
Yes, but it's worse. Let's be honest. When you know that your economy is not doing anything to support you as a young person, yes, it's understandable. But do you know what people in the streets will tell you? You're saying that because you can afford 5 eggs. You're saying that because you can feed. You're saying that because you even have money to leave your house to get somewhere else. There are people who have nada.
Okay, I get that. So what do you want them to do? They should lie down on the floor and die?
No.
Exactly.
But then
so you change your perspective.
So preaching peace is kind of, it feels a little bit, I don't know, delusional.
No, I don't think so. Because if everything around you is tumultuous, so what you should now be like, okay, I throw my hands up in the air, I'm just going to die with it. You don't have a choice. So what really are your choices?
Oh, my sister.
That's what I'm asking. What really are your choices? You go and steal? Do you go break into someone's house?
No.
Exactly.
But then again, it's like saying someone in a Benz passing by, splashing water on you and telling you, smile. life
So
will get
no,
better.
we're talking about two different things.
No, I'm just saying.
You're turning this into a conversation about people who have versus people who don't have. And I'm saying a human practice for how you can be happy. You can choose to be happy is what I'm saying.
But do you agree that it's easier to practice for
It is
people
not
who
easier
have
to cry in a Benz than on the street.
No, it's not about crying. No, it's not about crying in the Benz.
No,
we can argue that though.
Yeah,
we can argue that though.
Because
I would rather cry in the Benz.
I'd rather cry in the next day than to cry on the street.
But would you agree that it's easier to practice peace and calm and your inner chakra when you have than when you don't?
No, and I'm going to answer that question really quickly, and I'm just going to see, listen, there are billionaires that we know of, names that I can mention, who had all the money. They had all the access to every bit of luxury, and they offed themselves. So it's not about money, it's about perspective and choice.
What if I say that's a them problem?
No, it's not a them problem. It's it's the human condition.
All right.
It's the human condition.
Okay. No doubt things this to occur. Because this went from 0 to... I don't even know.
I didn't even expect it.
Hey, I became like... It was a debating society. I became like a good judge. I'm understanding where Blessings is going. I'm feeling you, but I'm also, I became like...
All I'm saying is, what are you going to do? When you can't do anything, what else do you do? You turn inwards because that's the only thing that you can control. So you can't control the economy, you can't control the market, you can't even control the weather.
You would tell me that I can't control these things, but don't preach something that it's harder to practice when I don't have anything that the only thing I'm holding on to is hope.
It's not preaching, and exactly that. Oh, you hold on to hope, but you internalize that hope because you cannot control anything else around you. We're basically saying the same thing in different parlance.
Anyways, things they occur, but in the midst of occurrences, Blessings.
Okay.
Grab yourself.
Like Catherine has been saying for the longest time, no doubt things do occur, and the occurrences and utterances amidst all of that, like Annie said, make sure you find a way to find peace in the presence of all of that. But at the same time, I would still say we need to be more practical. We need to be more realistic.
Yes, sir.
And of course, find it in your own at your own terms. But right now, it's time to grab yourself a cup of something. While we go on a short break to usher in our guests. This morning, our focus is still on the youth and the power of entertainment. And what you just saw is just the tip of the iceberg because we are about to delve deeper into the challenges and the concerns of the youth. And you don't want to miss that, so stick around.
Okay. Welcome back. You should hear the conversation during the commercial breaks that we have here on Jasiri. But remember, we're streaming live on our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. Use the hashtag Jasiri to be part of the ongoing conversations. Now today, we're tackling a timeless question. Can entertainment be a force for change? Or should it merely entertain? Or can it also inspire, educate, and even shape the course of history? I'm so excited because I'm to introduce this guest, today's guest this morning. It's been said that he had a front row seat, not just as a spectator, but as a contributor to the development of Afrobeat and an eyewitness as a close associate of the legendary late Fela Kuti, whose music and impact on generations is the greatest example of the power of art in reflecting and shaping socio-political realities. Now, our guest today is not just an entertainer. He's also a thought leader in the conversation about art's role in society. Singer, songwriter, actor, dancer, all-around entertainer, and my friend. Ladies, your Jasiri welcome today must slap. Dede Mabiaku, welcome to Jasiri.
It's slapping so hard my hands are feeling. Welcome, it's so good to see you. And you just had to put it there, my friend.
Yes, friendship.
Like he's my enemy.
Friendship. Listen, fam, so fam. Yes. And listen, if Lola were here, Lola would say, yes, I know he will take us back into the days where, but Dede, seriously, welcome to the show. It's
Thank you very
lovely
much
to have you seated here. All right, so let's jump right into it. Shows like the Village Headmaster.
Yep.
Remember Village Headmaster? And then there was Bassi and Company.
There was Hotel de Jordan before also. There was Magana Jarchi.
There was Masquerade.
There was the Masquerade.
Why won't you be lost? Gen Z like you.
You would be lost. It's not an issue
Exactly.
of Gen Z.
Yeah.
I think we need to take it from another point of view.
Take us
They say when you're small, anything when your parents wish to force you in jest, they go force you in jest. If na say you don't want to make you drink ogi, you not agree, they go come on, force the ogi inside. But when you grow up, when you've become the woman or the man, your duty becomes that of personal guide and personal control most of the time. So it is what you choose to ingest that you will seek. Ingestion now does not have to be just, it has to be knowledge.
Yeah.
It has to be what you receive. It has to be how you perceive the world. Now, you were saying you're lost. Why wouldn't you be lost when every time the thing that has been given to the world, you never use it to research the way you need to? The generation of now, are they cultured into wanting to research the real things? Thanks to people like, I would say Bill Clinton, for the Freedom of Information Act. So for that reason, we all have the social media now. You have the internet.
Yeah,
you
because
have
I was
you
going to say,
Google things.
So I'm not interrupting you. I was going to say, yes, they have the internet now. Shows like The Masquerade, the new Village Headmaster, were like news bulletins that year, reflecting the state of the nation. Now, it seems like there's a complete turnaround. The youth is focusing, they're looking for ways to escape rather than engage.
I would not place that burden on the youth.
Okay.
Because there's a saying that goes, garbage in,
Garbage out.
garbage out.
Yeah.
For very long, the society has been teleguided by those norms that are not cliched for this society.
Right.
The television service we had after a period of time changed from being content-driven to anything that comes share.
Can you explain that, please?
Okay.
Yes.
You were talking about the Village Headmasters and the rest of them. They held contents about our tradition, our ways of life, our culture. You know, these things were things that had deep values. So there was essence. So the children were cultured into things. Prior to these, in the musical world itself, again, if you want to crisscross the music and entertainment and the stage together, people like Ogunde in those days, they held sway. And the power of what they delivered became a way, a norm for the people who received. So there are values in our culture, in our ways, in our tradition. But how many times do we find the forebears, I'm coming now to parents now, of this so-called present Gen Z, how many times did you find them culture into the minds of the children these cultural norms, these traditions, these language values? At the end of the day, the children are left to swallow anything that comes along. Papa don't come out house early in the morning, they go hustle. Mama don't waka since. Go slow day, Papa not go reach house quick. Mama now go come pause for somewhere they wait, make go slow finish before she reach house. Pikin don't sleep.
Yes.
He wake up in the morning, who they carry and go school, house help.
A driver.
Or a driver. Or something or the other. Or he waka go. You know, all these things are things that are cultural, the mind of that child of yesterday into his present state of today. So why blame them when we have not? Normally I accost my friends and I say, guys, we are guilty of a lot of things that we're seeing now. How many times have you taught your children your language, your ways, your culture, your tradition? I can cast that as a blame. But there again, I come back to where we started this discourse. Your phone. You can, on the internet, you can surf anything and research anything. Freedom of information, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
How many times do you Google your language? How many times do you research your tradition? How many times do you dig in to find out about your culture?
You can argue that I would only want to or be interested in researching what I feel like will add value to me. How many times have they made me believe that my language or knowing my culture is going to make me better in society?
And in a strange way, it's almost
That's
like...
why, first of all, I laid this premise that when you were young, now the thing when your parents won't force you take, and they force you take. I take you see. But when you grow, your duty is to find that which enhances what you are. You are, first of all, an African. So what are your ways? When you've grown up, why are you not researching your ways? Why cast the blame on your forebears, on your parents? They hold their blame for not teaching, but you've gotten to the age where you can search. You see, there are three keys here. Seek, and you shall what?
Find.
Ask, And
You shall receive.
You shall see.
knock.
And the door will be open.
Have you done any of the three? No. Instead, we'll go Google the best baths, the babe when they dance, best
Nobody
music.
said baths.
You know what I mean. You know, that is the truth. You know, you go Google all kinds of crap.
But
You know,
sir,
and you
how-
don't research.
How do you own a culture that seems like it hasn't owned you? Does
Now,
that make any sense?
You're owning a culture that doesn't own you now.
I agree.
Now-
I agree, but it has a lot more, it's a lot louder, it's a lot more in your face.
Is it about
Yes.
what is a lot more in your face as an adult, or what is a lot more tenable for you? Because you're going to culture something into the next generation coming also.
Yes.
So let's not jettison responsibilities here. Let's be realistic with it. You have come to a present. In our time, we couldn't have all these. We never had it. So it was passed on. It had to be told. It had to be cultured in your time. It is available for you. Just like that, everywhere. Everybody has it. The phone.
Okay, so do you think the entertainment industry has the power to turn the dynamics around, to effect change, as it were, or has it been diluted? Do you think it has the force, the compass to drive societal change, or do you think it's the opposite?
It has always had that power because the arts is a deeply spiritual medium.
Yes, it is, I agree.
Now, that medium touches every soul it reaches out to. That is important. So when you look at that, the doctor can only attend to the patient that comes to his hospital.
Yeah.
The lawyer can only attend to the case in front of him.
yeah.
The mechanic or the engineer can only attest to those things that are brought before them.
him, yeah.
The artist reaches out to all, shares with all. We have transcended, we have jettisoned the essence of wanting to share that which is us. We are seeking that which is not us and placing the blame on those that did not share with us, whereas it's shared already by virtue of what is existent. The society can change because the arts can, yes, will, yes, has always been changing the world.
That's a culture that has, I think, you know, places like Hollywood,
Yeah.
they've carried on that culture. You have films like Selma, like Philadelphia. You have films that have talked about societal change, it's talked about healthcare, things like that.
Yes.
And it has sparked meaningful movements. I think one of my favorite artists, her name is Nina Simone.
Yeah.
I think you know her.
Whoa,
There's a
whoa.
song. Oh yeah, oh
You-
yeah, oh
you're
yeah,
an old soul.
oh yeah. Oh, I'm an old soul. I'm an old soul.
Talk to me
And there was
about
a
it.
song of hers. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Something goddamn, help me remember it. It became the anthem for the civil rights movement
Yes.
at that time.
Yes.
So art did influence measurable change.
Let's come
Why
home.
isn't it happening here
Let's
in
come
Nigeria?
home. It's
Yeah.
before fella.
After him, it seems like
No,
no one else has come along.
no. After him, some have. Let's not
Okay,
let's
let's
not
go. Let's
kill
talk about
all.
it. Let's talk about
My sister, look. Now here we do what we hear. Food no day. Light no day.
Yes,
You know
yes,
what I mean?
yes.
You know. Now here we do when we hear different kind of songs, even down to the present.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them. You see, it hurt me a few days ago when I was looking at something from Buju Banton. He was talking about, he said, the world today is going agog with the present day Afro beats, which tapped his roots
Fela's
from
music.
Fela's original sound.
Yeah.
He said, but Afro beats is contentless, more or less.
Lost its essence.
It's lost its essence. You see, if we do not putting values into what we are sharing, entertainment in this part of the world used to be edutainment. Do you understand?
I do.
That's why you had, in those days, we had things like, if you go to our traditional, the roots, any of those moonlit nights, when you sing the songs, there are lessons to learn. They're sweet songs. When we did for primary school in those days, the songs we would sing, the things we would hear the elders and they sing, Iwe kiko, lai siyoko, adiada,
You don't Wow, Gen Z.
Now, these things are teaching you lessons.
Yes.
It said, you read the book without having to go into the farm to till the soil, everything is not complete. It's teaching the children, nurturing in the minds of the people that nature is power.
Yes.
Get to the soil. Many of our children will never want to dirty their hands today. You, with your nails like this, now you won't go. You understand me? Yeah? And when we drift so far away from that which is us as a people, we start to lay blames, cast aspersions, without looking deep into us. What have we looked at? Have you gone to research your grandmother, what she used to be, how she used to live? If your mother did not give you the essence, what about your great-grandmother? Did you check? You're talking of civil rights movement. It came based on histrionics.
Yes. Yes.
From the pains of where the slave trade started.
Yes.
Are you with me?
I am.
So at the end of the day, the people at that time did not have the internet, but they had the connect to share those things which were traditional, transient values. It is our duty now to start to do this, especially you guys who are in the media. Your duty is to start to teach so that these generation of children who are tapping just the musicology from the essence of what people like Fela are doing will start to include content which is of essence.
Come on.
So I'm very curious, because I know that in those days, I mean, I may not have been born when people were so into using songs to preach cultural norm and all, but right now I see a reflection of that. For example, the Go 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 song that the other comedian went to re-dig out. It's a song about the Igbo culture. I think it's
talking
a story
about the seed,
tortoise, exactly. So these are stories that were told, and I think the Yorubas also have their stories that were told.
Houses have theirs.
Exactly. So I think that's one part, using song to instill cultural norms and values. But there's also the part that I also do remember that there were some songs that literally critiqued the government in the sense that they said things that other people did not want to say. And because of that, there was even one artist that had a beef, literally, with one of the sitting presidents as of now.
Idris Abdul Karim and Obasanjo, you're not here to talk now.
Exactly. We heard a lot of...
But he spoke the truth.
Yes.
You see, the thing is, if there was a follow-up on what he did, if there was a follow-up, a continuation on what Fela, these are branches of Fela's trees.
So
understand?
The thing now is, those people at that time were fearless, and it felt more as though they were risking their lives. So do you think that artists as of now have just decided to take the safer way out? Because I'd rather just my way into music than tell the actual truth about what's happening in the country and come face to face with the government and say things in your music that that you might be, they might come for you, but you're telling people what's happening, But now we're just, laughing our way through music.
You see, I said at the beginning, the arts is a very spiritual medium. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Now, what is fear? When the pain hits, just like we were talking before we came on air. You know, fear to talk and hear now, the pain when you feel when you go filling station, how nasty the whole scenario is, and all of it. But why are you afraid to speak your truth when you are living through that pain? If they pain you get a headache, you're not going to fear to go tell doctors, I beg, I have a headache. But you go fear to express to the government, say, they thief too much now.
Well, the doctor will treat you, the government might not.
No, the point is this, that's why it becomes a people-driven thing.
And many people don't see this country as worthy enough to die for. Let's be honest.
Because the country isn't dying for them.
Yes.
Hello? You're just coming up with things that interest me now.
Okay, let's go.
Because
let's do it.
If it be so, your duty now should be culturing in the minds of the people that which is essence. Because it's only when you are realistic, you don't fear, you don't panic about speaking the truth. Mosquito bites you for shoulder. You go slap the mosquito.
Don't be lying.
So you think that it's more a problem of us not facing the reality of our situation?
Yes.
Not that we have looked at the reality, evaluated it, and decided that perhaps this is a reality we can't win at, so we're going to create a different
That's
one.
a defeatist mode a defeatist approach
Yes,
because you
but
want
many
change.
people are focusing on blowing right now. Listen, so in Nigeria,
we're coming to that one now.
So you have.
You see, there we go about what is going on. It's no longer about values.
Yes.
It's about triviality because most of the guys who go in. Hold on. Most of the guys in the circuit that you receive now are in the arts for money's sake.
For fame, yes.
For money's sake. Now, added to that, let's go back to what I said at the beginning. Garbage in,
garbage out.
Garbage out.
Yes.
The more the garbage many of them are pouring in, the more the rest are seeing it as
that's the
values.
Way to go.
Yeah, the way to go.
Yeah.
And instead of people to see values, they are looking for it's not comfort, because at the end of the day, you're not comfortable when the next man there is staring you in the face every morning. You see it. You have to go to the market. You need to face your realities. We need to face our realities head on now.
Do you think the younger generation would prefer to deflect from that reality?
But that's what you people are attesting to.
That's what we're doing.
That's what you're attesting to now.
So
Let's be real.
The reason people believe that that's the way to go is because they do not see any change being effected or any change being possible. There are countries where you hear youth coming out to protest in mass, and then in few months the government is conceding. How many times does it happen in Nigeria? We've not heard that.
Not a lot of times. We just had a protest that finished a couple of days ago.
There's a lot of
barely any turnout.
Yes, there's a lot of
young
going
people.
on.
I was actually surprised. There were barely any young people there. There were a lot of voices in the NSAS protest. I didn't hear a peep from them in this one.
Okay, now let me tell you, when you get yourselves, you see, any revolution in the world is not instantaneous. It takes time.
Consistency?
And then there have to be things needed to be done. When the idea of the revolution starts, certain people, like I'll backtrack to you guys again, for instance, should be the edutainment source. You now share that into the mind of the people, their values, the norms that have been thrown away, jettisoned. In the olden days, we're not a thief. If person they thief, they go point to and say, your papa na thief. We didn't have anything like, the fella is right about most of the things he sang about. You know, because if you're in an area, you be thief, other children, they point to your papa, say your papa thief, other children not go follow you. Nobody will go. But when the things fella them did was to point these issues out to people's faces directly. You be thief.
Okay, so let's
thief not thief. You be killer. Killer not killer.
Let's talk about...
You know, so we need to make the children see these things. So you run away from those that are wrong. What do you think you see every day when you see all this so-called, in quote, Yahoo++? Because it has gotten to plus now.
Triple A factory.
And the boys sing about it.
Yeah. And they celebrate it
and they celebrate it.
I do
the
agree
boys
with
come
that,
out.
though, yes, because now we're explaining away the situation. Like, it's not theft. We're just trying to survive. We're taking from those who are stealing.
You don't survive at the expense of the rest. You soil the name of a people. The people remain castigated. Out there waiting that they talk, Nigerians are the biggest fraudsters. But hello, this also I want to correct that impression. The biggest scam, the Enron scam alone in America, right? The amount from the Enron scam, right? If you take together all that has been done by all the 419 people and all the criminals you call as a whole in the African sphere, it does not even touch 1/100th of what the Enron scam was up about. But once an African does something, it is overblown. But we give them the chance. So we need to start to reorientate the mindset of our people, and it should start from the primary.
So how do you reorient the mind of people when, if you release content that is intellectual, cerebral, you can check across all mediums. It gets a lot less airplay, it gets a lot less attention than, let's say, something empty and fluffy, like, I'm not going to call his name because I actually like his music, but people want the jaye music over music that talks about something, that teaches you something.
Need I say this?
Yeah.
The young ones have been struggling to gain identity and acceptance. You have it now. Since you have it, start getting content driven.
Do we have identity now?
Hello?
But don't
Excuse
forget
me,
there is
please.
also
Everywhere, what you call an
Because who are
identity
we?
is something people attest to.
So let's not forget, you said that when you get it, you can now start using it for change. But let's not forget, there's also the cancel culture. Well, even no matter how you
can't
rise,
escape it.
any little thing you do,
You're gonna come
you're
toppling
forgotten.
down.
In fact, they literally gang up against and they tell you cancel this person.
person.
That's the era where
That's what you people believe. But I tell you something. No matter how you want to cancel the truth, it stands as truth. So stand in that path. And however they want to cancel,
Teacher,
you remain there.
No.
Teacher,
Aye.
Teacher, does truth remain true?
Please,
I'm sorry, does truth
once
remain
Let me
true
break it to you.
if nobody attests to it? I'm just asking.
That's why I'm saying we have to culture back. I said, you start from somewhere. In those days, from primary school, they teach us too many things. We know they get them nowadays now. Go see curriculum when the children then they get for primary school. You said go shock now. They call our language vernacular.
Yes.
They don't jettison everything when we be.
Yes.
You stop teaching them history. They don't know who they are. They don't know from whence they came. You stop things like music, which used to be in primary schools and secondary schools.
Yeah.
They don't understand peripherally the values of what our cultural orientation should be.
And that means we don't have identity. I'm
We're lacking it right
move the
now
train
as far
along.
as society is concerned.
True.
Because we are going back to that same premise. Garbage in,
Garbage out. Yeah.
Wow.
I love this conversation.
I wasn't expecting. I was expecting, a full, wholesome conversation with Dede, but this direction, no, I wasn't expecting. But Dede, let me take you back to the life of the late Fela Kuti. You had a front row seat to see his life as a musician, and the messages from his music are still relevant today. How many decades after?
And you said
what
late?
An irony.
and you said late.
In body
No, you see, that's where the truth is.
No, so
Which is right now.
If over 27 years after his physical existence, the whole world still attests to the value, essence, and quality of what he has offered, then he leaves. Now let's start from there.
So what can young people learn from the fact that all of us say you be thief, I not be thief. Everybody has an idea, one or two lines from his songs.
Yeah.
The youth even chant it, they laugh about it. But what is it that the youth are missing? What lessons do they need to learn from the life, the times, and the sounds of the late Fela Kuti, especially in this area where young people just seem to be going higgy haga?
Okay. Let me put it this way. 90% of the children that handle the phone now know how to read.
Yes.
Yes.
And with songs online, you have the lyrics.
Yeah.
What is education if not what you receive, what you read, and what you perceive? So it is time for them to start going into content-driven things. These words, you see, arguably, I fit argue with anybody now from Nati, but the truth be told, Fela happens to be, right now, Africa's greatest export to the world. So why not seek to tap in from that source, the knowledge therein? Why seek to just take a few clips of the musicology and use to claim a title, Afrobeats?
Yes.
The essence of it is the value therein. Content matters. You're just talking about it. How many of them have the time, the patience, the temerity to go through the songs, to go through the lyrics, to see the essence of what is in there? Many schools abroad are studying Fela's music now.
True.
Here, we're not even culturing it into the people. It is ours. And we have lost that capability to be able to harness our benefits. And that's the major problem we're having in the present. The system has to change, but it has to start from a lower level.
But doesn't that speak to our culture, even as Africans as a whole? Let's take ourselves back to slavery. We have a history and unfortunate legacy of the things that are ours are taken away. Sometimes we give them away ourselves and then pick at the scraps that, do you see what I'm saying? So we give it away to people and then we try to oh, can you give me a little bit of what I already owned or what I owned before? So this is something that's gone down from generation to generation, and it's still happening now.
I like your perception. I like that perception. Interesting.
Okay.
But may I say,
Yeah.
it's not the real perception to hold in the present day.
Okay.
Because those things that you call the values we're picking now started by being imposed upon us by force.
Yes.
The force of the gun.
Yes.
Now, do it or
you don't.
otherwise.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So, with those, forcefully, the generations before my generation had to forcefully imbibe and then force their own to follow.
Yes.
And then that next, force the next to follow. But now, that force, which those generations had, is not with your generation. That's why the freedom you have to do what you're doing. So now, get me. No, do you understand me?
It was a physical gun before. I think it's still there. It's just not physical right now.
Can we put a pause on this? We need to go on a short break.
Oh, right.
Guys, this is a very interesting conversation. And we still have the legendary Dede. I mean, he's legend to me. He's a friend to Catherine. I don't know what he is to
He's a
Annie.
legend to me, yo. Like,
Yeah, but Catherine, hold on. So we need to go on a break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. The question is entertainment still a force of change? Because it was at some point, and is it still edutainment or just plain entertainment
We should
and
ask
a
what the Gen Zs
survival
think.
mode?
Yeah,
Stay with
yeah,
us.
yeah.
We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying with us on Jasiri, and I'm loving this conversation. Now, I'm not going to, there's no theatrics here. We just need to get back into the conversation because we have very few minutes with our amazing guest. And I want to quickly ask, there's a little bit of banter there, unresolved issue, but I just want to ask very quickly. Now, we talked about the Westerners, other countries labeling us as thieves, as criminals, as scammers. And we are meant to change that narrative. Now, we've also accepted that a lot of youth these days, we have a coping mechanism that is almost very terrible because now we laugh at almost anything. Oh, you guys are scammers, ha 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 ha, yeah, that's funny. Oh, you guys are thieves, oh yeah, maybe, yes, we are. But the question is, how do we change a narrative when we don't even know who we are? We are not criminals, so to say, but who are we? I mean, they say that we're scamming people, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're stealing people's identities, and we say we're not. But what are we doing? What narrative are we correcting?
Good. It is the narrative of the West that you are propagating now, that we are this, we are that. Whereas the West happens to be the worst criminals as far as the world, existence, commerce, economics, and reality is concerned, and even politics.
oh yeah.
Because if you find out, the only reason why you and the people in our terrain remain the way we are is because of the influence and inference and thievery of the West.
Yes.
Now, they will not want us to find a path where we can create that bonding. By every means necessary, they employ the divide and rule. And then the MSN comes to play, mainstream media. And what happens? They propagate certain narratives built on thoughts, right? And they sell into the media that is received by our people. That's why I said, how often do you Google that which is your culture, your tradition, your roots, your history? How often do you go into those narratives? It beholds upon the media like yours and the rest to start to pump out that narrative. Many years ago in Ghana, certain things interestingly happened that I loved. Rollins, they said he held the society to ransom. 6 years of curfew. Not be joke. You come out after 6 o'clock, you're in trouble. So the society fell in line. Okay, fine. Thereafter, what happened? What did you hear on the radio? Ghanaian songs, mainly. You hardly ever heard Western rhythms, except rhythms that had sense. So the people started being taught certain things. That's why I was telling you garbage in, garbage out. NTA in those days, we're talking about the same thing now. NTA in those days was gearing towards content-driven, content-oriented motifs until a group of people came and destroyed what programming is supposed to be. Programming is about teaching the society, culturing the minds of the people towards the values therein. When you start to teach them, because every time, look, the biggest hypnotic medium in the world is the screen, is the television. So you will see people who better come, your papa compound in those days, when they don't get TV. from neighboring. They come, they look.
Yeah.
That's what they look the thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what's happening to them? They are being brainwashed, unknown to us as a people. So if we do not empower the minds of the people now with those tenets that are ours, the values therein, we are going to lose by wanting to say it is too late, it is very difficult. No, nothing is difficult. I don't cave in. I believe that the change is with you, with me. If you accept that it is possible for you to dig in, then culture the next friend. And that next friend will culture the next. Before you know, you are culturing your children who are here or who are coming.
All right.
And so the generations coming, it will change.
Now,
we need to start to put these ideals in, not just ideas. The West will continue to push their narrative until we push our narrative. Nkrumah said these things a long time ago. Neocolonialism is the factor of what they are using as a bane against us.
Are we saying that? Let's look at the young artists now. There's so many of them out there.
We need to start to teach them. It's not asking, are we seeing?
Okay.
You have professed that, yes, we are seeing. We're not, they are not doing.
Okay, so let's leave the classroom.
Start to do it.
Let's leave what they have been, what they have grown up with. Let's take a look at, let's take ourselves back to the issue of what they're putting out as content in music. Do you think that the music industry presently reflects the positive messages, the I don't know, progressive thinking? And in that movement, do you think the music industry is headed in that direction as we speak? I mean, they're making money.
That's precisely what we've been talking about. It is not. Wait, it is not, because over a long period of time, what the ideals which were meant to be cultured, were stopped. The rest became anything where people see, people take. See, in those days, you come from school. Once you come from school, your mama go open your bag. They search the bag. If you see pencil, will not be your pencil.
Yes, you go and return it.
Return it. You go first here, boga first. Return, okay.
After.
You thief with that.
After,
You don't begin cultural. But things changed. Parents now became something else. Your papa go to beat picking, make it not thief, make it not lie, make it not talk lie, make it not change. But uncle go come house, press bell, picking go open door, come back, come go meet daddy for room. Say, daddy, Uncle Jacob is at the door. He said, I better tell him I'm not in the house. You don't know, say, now you they culture that thing for in front, make you see. Your picking no say your salary. If they say you way they discuss with mommy, your salary now X amount of money. But at the end of the month, you did for ministry, you come back, you don't build one new house. From which money? See, these things we are selling to our children, wrong messages which they imbibe, build upon, and want to continue in that path.
We're selling a lot of gray areas.
Yes, wrong things. But we still hold values. We still have.
No, but so here's the thing. I mean, you have people like Fela, people like Funmilayo Ransome Kuti,
people like Wole Soyinka,
and you have so many great giants who came out, they were forceful, they were unafraid, and they made things happen. It feels like right now we don't have people with that sensibility. There must have been something in the water they were drinking that we're not drinking now.
Okay, need I say that because I said it is possible to create that, we're even seeing where some of the younger generation are even doing some of that. Some time ago, this young boy sang, generator won't hear my ear, generator won't hear my ear. It sang, people were dancing, but it was making some sense. Yes, if other people were beginning to do things like for instance, I heard something from Burna Boy, for instance, a while back. One collabo he did about we are the generation you created and something, you know? One song. And then of recent, he just dropped one song again that I heard it for the first time the day before yesterday. And I was like, oh, this song is called Higher or something like that?
Higher. So there's a movement.
It is possible for these things to start to happen.
All right. So
are you with me? We need to start to be more proactively positive in the mindset to say it is possible. If the governance does not do it, we can start to culture it from ground up.
And that's why on Jasiri say, there's no doubt that entertainment can be weaponized by both sides of the divide, especially when there are so many diverse interests. But, history doesn't lie. It's a powerful tool for societal change and a way to reach the young, impressionable minds who are the future leaders of tomorrow. Nigerian youth, it's your power and it's yours to will. Thank you, Dede Mabiaku, for your insights. It's always so lovely chatting with you.
This was a great
And please feel
conversation.
free, the doors
Great
to Jasiri, I'm sure my producer will agree with me, are open to you. On that note, guys, we have to run out of the studio before they pursue us. If you do that hand. They
I had a very great conversation. I'm still reflecting.
On behalf of my goodbye. Tomorrow is another. Tomorrow is Hot Topic special.
Cheers, guys.